said, I think we have to race for it right here. So, Jeff, you called it a moment ago. Time to go for the win in the Brickyard.
Yeah, Martin Truex Jr., see, he's on the bottom all of a sudden. So, you know, there's no more playing. It's time to go. It is. If I'm Kyle Busch, I'm contesting this spot.
Who has the better restart? A drag race into turn one. Oh, Kyle Busch slides and does the 78. They both go up into the wall through turn one. Caution comes out.
Lock her down. We're done. KO'd.
Fighting for the spot. The 18 got loose up high. The 78 was loose down low. 78 slid up and hit the 18. They both go around. Big flames underneath the hood of Martin Truex Jr.'s car. He jumps out of it.
Car guys, he's out of the car.
They have fire suppression systems under the hood, as well as in the driver's compartment and in the trunk where the fuel cell is. So that fire suppression system working to put the fire out, but there were some big flames rolling out from underneath the hood. Martin Truex Jr. not happy at all.
Well, Rick, it all started, you heard Marty's report. For most of the day, they've been allowing each other. The lead car, the control car, has been taking the outside. The other car has been letting that leader in. Jeff, you said it was time to contest, time to race down into turn one side by side, and that is exactly what created this accident. Two drivers trying to win one of the marquee races of the year.
And once again, Kyle Busch dominating the race and not going to be in victory lane. So this trend of 2017 continues. Here you go. Kyle Busch on the outside. Just rolls up on the outside of 78. 78 gets loose, just like we saw Ricky Stenhouse Jr. a minute ago. Got loose getting in the corner. Could not hold the car on the bottom. Gets in the side of the 18. Ty Dillon, great job not running into the side of Kyle Busch. This is racing. This is side by side. I know it's 49 to go, but it's side by side racing for the win. You saw the wiggle from Martin Truex Jr. He just could not hold the car on the bottom without being loose. Had to turn the car to the right or he would have spun out and got into the side of the 18. It's hard racing. It's track position racing. You have to be aggressive. You have to push on these restarts. This is the result when you push, but if you don't, you're not going to win these races.
The winless streak will continue for Kyle Busch. It now goes over a year.
Look at the rear of that car just fold up.
And we had just seen it on the previous restart, Rick. These two cars left the field by 1 second in one lap. They were hands down the two most dominant cars here today, both eliminated. I'm not sure I know who the favorite is now.
Is there a new favorite?
Anyone else?
Well, who's going to step up and seize the opportunity? It's there. It's there for the taking.
Coach Gibbs. Joe Gibbs not happy at all.
Look at this fire. It's so scary. See the window net come down. Martin Truex Jr. right now, even though he's still moving, he sees that fire. He's unbuckling. He's getting ready to get out of that race car as soon as he can get it stopped.
And you never know exactly what it is, but with the hit on the right front, normally what happens, Rick, is something in suspension brakes and either hits a fuel line or an oil line. That looks like, as intense as that fire is, either fuel or oil underneath the hood. And then, as you mentioned, that suppression system is automatic under the hood.
And there
you
it goes
see it
there.
go off right there. Inside the car, the driver needs to set it off, but under the hood, it's automatic. Really, just like in your hotel room, right? If something goes on fire, it sprays the suppression, puts out the flames. But still, I mean, even with the fire being hot, it's got to be hard to breathe, Jeff, as a race car driver in that.
Yeah, it's very hard to breathe. You saw that long cord that was still hooked to Martin Truex Jr. That was a radio cord. It kind of will hold you into the car. You just got to jerk that thing and break it.
So the fluid that came out of the car, they're trying to keep that from spreading down the racetrack.
So now the conversation starts, right? Why are we racing? You know, now that conversation, because remember, you have Joe Gibbs racing that, you know, helps the 78. They work together in some sorts. Why were we racing at each other that hard? Why were we doing that? We had the two fastest cars. Well, because the two fastest cars, they both want to win. And you cannot sit around and wait for the right time. You have to take that opportunity. You never know when the winning moment's going to come, Steve. And right now, on this restart with 48 to go, you've got to go try to take that lead.
Jeff, you're exactly right. Let's listen in. It's time now for today's Fresh Take, brought to you by Subway. We're going to listen in to both the 18 radio and the 78 radio prior to that restart about how important it was that they wanted to get out front.
I think we need to race him. You on board with that, Adam? He's driving, man. Absolutely. All righty, 10-4.
That was the 18.
We're going to change it, but we'll do whatever. We'll take the bottom if we want to. Okie dokie. It's fine all day when it was the other way, I guess. Yep, copy that. That's the plan for sure. Copy that.
It doesn't sound like Martin Truex Jr. wanted to go on with that plan. He felt that the plan previously had been working.
Well, it's the same story. Martin Truex Jr. feels like there have been multiple restarts where he did not contest the position. So you said it, Jeff. At some point, playing nice has to go out the window. From that radio, it seems that Kyle Busch's opinion of when that should happen and Martin Truex Jr.'s opinion of when that should happen were definitely different.
And it will always be different, right? Somebody's got to get to the point and say, look, it's time. And when this happens, now, like I said before we heard these radio broadcasts, that now you're going to start questioning it. Like, why were we doing that? But, you know, when you are a race car driver and you're a crew chief and you say, okay, now it's time to push that button. Now it's time to try to make more happen. If it doesn't work out, it's easy to point the fingers at you. But that's what winners do. Winners step up at big moments. And by the way, winners can't be afraid to fail. Winners have to be willing to take that risk in order to seize a race.
You used the word winners twice there. One driver who is not a winner in 2017 is Kyle Busch. Looking to make it 3 in a row here at the Brickyard 400. That's not going to happen. He has been checked and released from the Infield Care Center. Kyle Busch has 2 winless tracks. One of them is Charlotte. The other track is the one we go to next week, Pocono. Kyle Busch has never won at Pocono, but now he's on his longest winless streak of his career. And standing by with Kyle Busch is Marty.
Well, certainly not the way Kyle Busch wanted to end up his Brickyard 400. You had just said on the radio, and you had to deal with the 78 all day long, that it was time to race for it. Any other choice there, Kyle, with 48 to go?
I mean, you, I guess, could have continued to play the teammate game and tried to settle it on a green flag pit stop. But if he would be that much faster than me and yard me by 3 seconds in a run with the clean air, then I'd never have an opportunity to be able to pass him back, even if we had a stellar pit stop. So that's the way it goes. Just chalk it up as another one that we figure out how to lose these things by, and it's very, very frustrating. And I hate it for my guys. They build such fast Toyota Camrys, and this Skittles Camry was really good again today, and had one to go out there and put ourselves in the record books for 3 in a row, but not happening.
From your perspective, Martin just got loose underneath you, or what happened?
I would guess. I don't know. I just was on his outside and got hit, got blindsided into the fence, so I would imagine that's what it was.
You've got to start wondering, and you just mentioned a moment ago, what this team has to do to win races in 2017. Clearly, you had the best car today.
Yes.
All right, Kyle. With a good perspective, though, and there's the wreck, and obviously very disappointed. He certainly did have the fastest car today and was the car to beat here this afternoon, but out of it early, Rick, surprisingly.
And Kyle Busch has always been one who's had to maybe check his emotions when he talks after a race, when he gets wrecked out or if something happens in a race. And you could hear the frustration, obviously. He knew he had the best car in this field, but he mentioned the comment that would the race come down to a green flag pit stop, and that definitely could have been what happened.
You can't give up track position. You cannot give it up. I'm never going to get mad at 2 drivers for racing for a win. That was just hard racing, plain and simple.
78 got loose on the inside, and Martin Truex Jr. into the wall in flames. Watching Monster Energy Cup Series racing from Indianapolis. Let's go to Marty.
Martin Truex Jr. out of the Infield Care Center. I want to get your perspective on what happened on that restart and that wreck.
I just got loose and wrecked him. I mean, it was totally my fault. Didn't really know what to expect in that position. didn't really realize he was going to drive in that deep and suck me around. So, I got to take the blame for that one. Obviously, it was my fault. So, hate it for Kyle. He had a great car. We did as well. But that's racing. So, glad I was able to get out. Fire was bad, and had no brakes. Had to run into the wall a second time just to try to get the thing stopped so I could get out. So, fortunately, I'm okay, and we'll live to race another day.
Yeah, we're certainly glad you're okay. But Kyle had said at that point, and I think you had agreed too, 49 to go. Any other choice than to race each other because you guys have been playing nice on restarts all day long?
Yeah, we worked well together, and that's the hard part about this stuff is when it's time to go, and I feel awful. I just made a mistake, so definitely should have picked the outside, and all would have been fine, I guess. But it's just the way it goes, man. Hate it for auto owners, everybody involved, everybody at Furniture Row. We had an awesome car today, and we got out front. I don't think they were going to be able to beat us, but, mistake on my part took us out of it. So we'll get them next week.
Rick?
Very unfortunate. Martin Truex Jr. owning up to it. Got loose, and he caught the 18, and they both went into the wall.